Hello, Rob here from Kickback Garage. Now today we're going to delve into the realms of clutch and primary removal on your lambretta. Now I appreciate this is a really basic job that everybody should be able to do, but if you're new to lambrettas and you find the mechanics of them all a little bit daunting, then this is the one for you. This is a good job to start on. Changing clutch plates and stuff like that, and inspecting your primary drive is quite an important part of lambretta maintenance. Now, if you haven't wrenched on a lambretta before, the first thing you should run out and buy is this. This is what we call the Bible in the lambretta world, or Stickies is another one as a nickname. And it's really called the Complete Spanner's Manual for lambretta scooters. Although everything that I'm going to do in the next couple of series is in this book, I do appreciate the fact that sometimes it's a lot easier if you see it visually. See it visually first and then dive into the book and get the wrenches out. So if you're going to mess around with your clutch for the first time, grab yourself a cup of coffee and I'll see you after the intro.
Messing around with these cameras, batteries going flat.
Alle sprang I lag og ville komme under tak. Ingen av oss merket at du hadde falt I frak. Hvorfor valgte du å dra? Hvem I faen kunne se den komme? Da høsten tok over, sa vi hadde brattet oss sommer.
To do this operation, you'll need a couple of specialist lambretta tools. Now, the first one, let me get it. The first one is this one, which is the lambretta clutch compressing tool. These cost around about 40 to 50 pounds. But you do yourself a favour and buy it from a reputable dealer, because this one I've got here from eBay, it didn't actually fit, so I had to re-drill the holes and weld on new plates, which is very annoying. But that's life. And the next tool you can buy off eBay if you want. This is a clutch holding tool, and apart from this and the clutch compressor, you'll need a decent socket set. Okay, let's get to it. As you see here, I've got my engine out of the scooter, but this is absolutely no problem doing this operation, like changing your clutch plates and inspecting your clutch and stuff like that. No problems whatsoever doing this in the scooter. When you've taken off the side cover, if you've got an Indian machine that uses normal bolts, do yourself a massive favour and buy yourself the MB Developments, or Lambretta Spares as the website is called, shouldered studs, which look like this. MB do a really good kit, and what that means is that you can fit them permanently with some strong Loctite, because I've never really had any other operation there I have to take these out, so these can be Loctited in permanently. The motor I've got here at the moment, as you see, is an oddball collection of non-shouldered and shouldered studs. And this one over here is missing completely, but I've got one lying around I can use on there for the clutch compressor. So if you're gonna do a job properly. Okay, I hope you can see this. When you've removed your primary cover, your engine should look something like this. Now, I can already see a problem. Now, the problem is he's had problems with his clutch. It's been slipping. And I can see here now, straight away, that he hasn't seated the springs properly. Now, one of the problems is if you don't seat the springs properly when you put your clutch together, there you go, it's just a simple task to do when you finish up putting your clutch together, Uncle Arne. There we go. If they don't sit properly in these recesses, then that can actually cause... There you go. That's how it's supposed to look. The problem is if the springs aren't sat in the recesses properly, and I can see they're not lined up in the bottom basket either that well, which is a bit silly, because what can happen then, in fact that one there isn't even in the basket. What can happen then is when you compress your clutch, the springs combined, and that also can lead to the fact that maybe your clutch plates don't release properly, and then you'll get some clutch drag, and you'll cause some premature wear on the clutch plates, which I reckon is what might have happened here. Anyway, let's get going. So the first job to do, fit your clutch compressor like so. If you're using the shouldered bolts, which you should be doing, then you may have to use some extra washers just to space out the spare room there, and tighten it down. Before you compress your clutch, use this little device here, which basically stops you wrecking your pressure plate on the clutch here. And it's a case of compressing the plates, or compressing the springs, whatever. Don't have to go mad on this, you just have to do it enough so that you can loosen this clip. This clip holds the plates in the clutch plate. And use a big screwdriver just to prise it out there. Just press it in. Watch your face, because if that comes off at a terrible speed, it's quite a, you know. That's this one. And that's all you need to do to take your plates out. Then ease it, back it off. Remove the clutch compressor. There you go. Bend over. Right. A normal clutch comprises of steels and corks. I'm quite interested to look how they look. Actually, they don't look too bad. Now if you're just going to remove or replace your clutch plates, these don't look too bad. They look like they've got quite a bit of meat on them. So I'm not sure why they were slipping. It could be these steels. You can check that they are not warped, that they're completely flat, by placing them on a flat bit of material. But there's a funny colour to these. I've got a sneaking suspicion that he has used Surflex C, and the greeny sort of Surflex C corks don't really work that well. And in the scooter world, we've sort of found out that the C stands for crap. Right, okay. This is a bit of a trick. This is the old PX stronger spring setup on this one. So you've got normal springs, lambretta clutch springs, and this is the PX clutch springs on the outside. So that's like an old school trick, and I bet that clutch was really, really hard to pull in. Because it wasn't sitting in the basket right, they're not even centered over the holes on here, then they were probably binding too. So if you're changing your plates, that's all you need to do. If you're going to remove your primary, then we're going to have to do a little bit more. Because I'm going to remove my primary, then I can use the clutch holding tool, and that basically slots over the clutch spider and clutch basket. Let's have a look. Get in there. There we go. And I can use that to remove both this bolt and that bolt. The front sprocket bolt is 14mm. So the front cush drive comprises of a bolt. This is the original Innocenti type, and it doesn't look too bad actually. I've seen worse. If you've got an Indian motor, then they are a bolt just with a washer. Bin those and buy yourself the high tensile MB development types, or use the original Innocenti type. But I mean, these things are 60 years old. And getting that snapped in your crankshaft, not a fun thing. So it's good practice to renew these now and then. Then you've got a top part here, spring retainer. Then you've got the spring. You've got the spring holder in the bottom there. This spring felt quite weak. I almost jumped over the splines when I was winding this off, so I think I'll recommend Arna changing this, because what I found is after a while you can see it's not even straight. It's sort of the coils are closer together here than they are at the top there, and I have experienced in more powerful motors, I've experienced the fact that it jumps over on the cush drive and it's not actually the clutch. So I may have one of these, a new one of these lying around somewhere. So we'll renew this. And we have to open the tab washer here on the clutch nut. Now this tab washer looks really well used, so if this was my engine, I'd be changing that one too. When you knock them flat, it's good to use something square or flat on the bottom, so that you don't completely mess it up like this one is. Now we will remove the clutch sprocket nut, and that is a 22mm. Bring it over so it stops on your stud, and probably a good idea to use an extension bar or just watching your fingers, because when that lets go, oh my god, is really gone to town when he's tightening this stuff up. It's overkill man. I don't think that's been used. I don't think that's been torqued down to the proper specs. So there you've got your nut and your tab washer, which we will be renewing this time. Then you can remove your holding tool, and I'll take off the chain guide completely here. It's also a good idea, if you're upgrading your engine to more powerful specs than totally original, or even if you've got totally original, you should take away the bottom guide on these, because they have a tendency to wrap themselves around the cogs. I've seen that lots and lots of times, and it's a general consensus that they're not really used. You just use the chain tensioner on the top, and the modern ones are a lot better. And as you can see, this one is a pull down chain tensioner, so he can use a longer chain, and it's also easier to change the primary drive sprocket sizes. So that's his chain tensioner, and he's used lots of Loctite, which is good. And then we can ease off this one, which is the clutch spider. As you can see, this one has been slightly modified, or as we can say, been welded into place, because these rivets can loosen on tuned engines when you're using a traditional type clutch. And another difference you may find is on the LI-SX type clutches, they use bearings, whereas the GP type clutch just uses this bronze bush. And now we can take off the clutch basket. And the front sprocket. When you're replacing chains and primaries, try and use a good quality chain that hasn't got half links. And I'm not sure I can't see what make this is. iWis is one of the better ones. That's that removed. Now sometimes these can be a real pain in the bum to get off, the sleeve on the primary here. So what I've done in the past is this one's loose, so there's no problems with this one, and that's because the crankshaft is brand new. MB Developments, they make a little nifty tool to take off this this sleeve, but in the past I've simply just used a pair of vice grips. Got to open it all the way, and I've used a small block of wood. I've clamped it down on the end there and just pressed it up, and it releases it. But if it's stuck really hard, then there is a tool for that as well. Another one to watch is the oil thrower. This washer here is only found on the later style engines. The Series 1 and early Series 2 don't have this recess around the main bearing here, so there isn't room for the oil thrower. But this one, on this one it's standard. So if you take off your drive sleeve there and you don't have an oil thrower, then don't be alarmed if it's flat in this area around here, because that's normal not to have one there. So that's your primary removed, easy peasy. In the next video I will be showing you how to assemble this again with new clutch plates, new clutch springs, and ready to go. So if that's something you fancy watching, do the old subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.